Hello, I am Dr. Lisa Faust, founder of Diversify RX, and we're going to be diving into doctor detailing tricks and tips. These are some of my favorites from over the years of not only doing my own doctor detailing, but also working with lots of other pharmacies and helping them with their doctor detailing. So let's dive right on in. I love using the word free, and there's lots of ways that you can use the word free. Now, I will say pharmacists and pharmacy owners are notorious for giving away so many services and so many benefits for free, and you're getting nothing in return. The way that you got to do this and the way that you use free is free gets people in the door. It gets them to your pharmacy. It gets them asking questions, but you have to follow up and follow through with capturing their information, asking them to transfer their prescription, whatever that proper follow up and follow through is. But free is still a very powerful marketing term. And when you're talking with doctors' offices, it goes very far with them because they are often looking out for their patients, want to make sure their patients pay the least amount. Obviously, a lot of people have restrictions on their income. So free is very, very powerful. So what are some of the free things I'm talking about? So many pharmacies do free delivery, even if it's not free same day delivery, it's free next day delivery, or free delivery on the next route day. You do not have to offer free same day delivery in order to be advertising free delivery. Free flavoring is another one. I'm a huge Flavor RX fan. I have it in all of my pharmacies. And instead of charging for it, we leverage it for free. We talk to pediatrician's office, let them know, hey, your patients can get free flavoring at our pharmacy. Of course, we give it to everybody, but it makes that office feel special when we tell them or we give them coupons that says, Dr. Smith's patients get free flavoring. It's like they're adding value to their own patients. Free prior authorization support. This is a big area depending, if you have some specialty type doctors, that this can be a really big boost to helping reduce their staff frustration and also increasing your ability to be able to fill some of these prescriptions that might be more beneficial to you. Free drug coupons. We all know that we often look up manufacturer coupons, or we even have it programmed into our systems that it automatically finds a manufacturer coupon. So talk about that service with your doctors when you're going off and visiting, that you'll try to find any available manufacturer coupons to help reduce that patient's copay cost. Free packaging. A lot of you do synchronization, you do compliance packaging, you might do strip pouch packaging, and you do these services for free in exchange for getting more referrals. And so that can be a really great free resource to be advertising as well. Synchronization is another one. Again, most pharmacies do synchronization, but you got to put that little word free in front of it. And it just makes people's ears perk up and they listen just a little bit harder when you say that something is free. So don't forget to talk about those. So, all right, next one is host events at your pharmacy. Now, and I know we're in COVID times, but eventually we're going to be past that. And depending on your local geographic area, there's some that are flaring up and there's some that are going down. So obviously you want to do this when appropriate, but I love hosting events at the pharmacy. Now, these events can be for prescribers, for non-prescribers, for patients, for sister businesses or channel partners. Like there's a lot of different ways that you can host events at your pharmacy. I like having ones that are specifically for prescribers, maybe a prescriber day. You can even bring in somebody to provide a CE or something like that. That's kind of normal, but it depends on your area of like that kind of stuff is available to, if you're in a big city, a lot of times pharma will be sponsoring those. But if you're kind of in those mid to small size towns, your doctors don't get a lot of that. So you can be the one that hosts those types of events for your prescribers. Now, I think it's really important that if you host an event for a prescriber, you should host a corresponding event that basically bans prescribers, no prescribers allowed. So it's everybody else on the staff. It could be the nurses, the medical assistants, the front office receptionist, but it's basically no prescribers allowed. And it really makes the office staff feel special. And you still go all out with wine or cheese or hors d'oeuvres or nachos or whatever it is that your people like, you still go all out for, just like you did with the prescribers, but for the non-prescribers, and invite them to your pharmacy, talk about services, ask those questions that we talked about in the anatomy of a doctor detailing video of what can you do better. Just seeing a pharmacy sometimes gives those people better perspective. I know many times doctors' offices, nurses, and MAs have never been in a pharmacy behind the scenes. They might have been a patient, but they don't see all the stuff that goes behind. So really opening of that curtain and getting a behind the scenes exposure really does great things for building that relationship with those doctors' offices. You can again, make these educational if you want. You can bring in people and do official CEs. They don't even have to be official CEs, but if they're just informative conversations, that can be beneficial. I like show and tell. Whether it's new products, maybe you just started carrying an Nanda Professional CBD line, and you've got the whole line up there, and you want to invite people in to come see it. Or maybe you just redid your compounding lab or got in some new equipment and you want to show them how an ointment mill works. Just again, pulling back that curtain behind the scenes lets people think they're seeing something very special and very private. So show and tell is a great reason to host and bring people to your pharmacy. That is always going to build a stronger, better relationship than you just always going to their doctor's office. Another great thing to host for, I mentioned channel partners, and that terminology isn't used a whole lot in pharmacy, but who else in your town could you partner with that doesn't do prescriptions, but does other services that are similar to the services that the people that are coming to your pharmacy would like? Is there a nutritionist? Is there a physical therapist? Is there a chiropractor? Is there a local gym? Is there a local coffee house? Just think of all the different businesses in your town that if you were to maybe co-market one another or share each other's flyers in your different locations, send out an email, for each other or something like that. Who else could you invite and get to know a little better? So think about just other business owners that are serving the same type of customers that you want to be serving in your town, because if you build a good relationship with those, you can do a lot of cross promoting between your two businesses. All right, script pads. So pre-printed script pads. These are very popular. Compounders probably use these a little bit more, but pharma really started this trend many, many years ago. And pre-printed script pads are popular even for regular retail prescriptions, because anything that makes it easier for a doctor to prescribe is the doctor's going to love it, the patient's going to benefit, and you get more prescriptions because it's easier for them to prescribe. Now, in some states that require e-scripts or things like that, script pads have become kind of a thing of the past. But what you can do instead is you can actually ask to go into the doctor's office, talk to them about their popular prescriptions, maybe some of the special prescriptions that you provide, and make sure that you input them into their system in a way that they can be easily found. So there's still ways that you can help out with this, even if you're not doing an actual script pad. You do want to make sure and check with your state board of pharmacy just to make sure that you understand the laws. You want to custom make these for each prescriber. So that way it has their favorite prescriptions. I know, like for some OBGYNs, they like a certain type of thyroid or certain brands, those kinds of things. So pediatricians are the same way too. A lot of times pediatricians will be like, only get the purple Dimetap, those kinds of things. And so it's really important that you can customize, because these are really custom printed, custom make. You make them in Word or Excel, and that's a really great service to offer for them, is complete customization. If script pads aren't legal in your board of pharmacy, or you're not sure, you're just not sure if the PBM is going to like it, you can always use a script pad as a way of communication between the doctor's office and the pharmacy. And you can always back that up with a phone call. You can always do a verbal prescription. Hey, Dr. Smith, I got the script pad, just confirming that you wanted indomethacin and clemastine and chlorzoxazone. You could always redo it as a verbal prescription if needed in order to comply. You can just use the script pads instead of as an official legal prescription. It's really more of a communication note between the doctor's office and the pharmacy. You always just want to make sure that you do whatever is legal and compliant in your state. Same thing with Cascade scripts. Cascade scripts are like, here's drug A, but if drug A is not covered, then drug B. And if drug B is not covered, then drug C. Now, sometimes those are legal, but the PBMs don't like it. Sometimes they're not legal in a state. So again, you can use a Cascade script as a form of communication between the doctor's office and the pharmacy, and you can always follow it up with a verbal call-in so that you can turn it into a verbal prescription or even an e-script if needed in your state once it's figured out, what's covered on the patient's insurance and all those kinds of things. Now, stickers. So I love talking about stickers, especially for all of my compound pharmacy owner friends out there. Pre-printed stickers. Now, you can use these for retail scripts too. It's not just for compounds. Again, you think back to pharma still uses this a little bit less now, I think, with COVID, but pre-COVID, if you remember, like when I'm old, I remember when Nexium and Viagra and all them first came out, they had stickers that they would just give a roll of stickers to the doctor's office, and then the doctor's office would just peel the sticker and put it on their prescription pad. So that way they didn't have to custom make anything in terms of a prescription pad for all the various individual doctors. They just had stickers. And so you can do the same concept too. You can even print them in-house on Avery labels. If you want super fancy glossy stickers, you can send those off to a printer to have them done. But pre-printed stickers are a really great alternative to script pads. You can use them again for compounds. If you have popular compounds, the thing with compounds is a lot of times doctors don't know how to prescribe, or even if they do know how to prescribe, writing out, diltiazem 5% and, writing out everything is just kind of a pain. So if there's popular compounds that a doctor likes, great. Doctor, let me pre-print them all up for you and I'll bring them back to your office. So that is a great value add for the doctor's office, and it helps drive more prescriptions back to your pharmacy. So again, you want to customize these for each prescriber based on what they prefer, and it is great for compounds. So we've talked about compounds a lot, and I know a lot of you out there are getting into compounding because it's great cash-based revenue. And so I want to talk about specifically some tips and tricks specifically for compounders for just a minute. So samples. I love samples prescriptions, just how pharma samples out prescriptions, giving out samples to the office staff or things like that. Now you got to make sure you have a prescription or an order, just like you do with any prescription product, but letting other people try it for free, letting them see the effect, letting them see how, high quality, the good cream it is, all of those kinds of things. Samples work really, really well. Now I have run across a couple of states that explicitly in their prescription laws, they say, basically no sample prescriptions. And so what you can do instead, you can do free trial prescriptions. And this is where you can use a bounce back coupon. I used to do this all the time with sleep gel. My sleep Z gel is we would do a coupon, the tear off pad coupon that said free 7-day trial. Or 10-day trial, whatever you want to do. And so the patient would bring in that coupon with the prescription to the pharmacy, and then you could give them a free trial prescription that way. There's also, in some states, you could charge a penny or something like that if you need to. You want to make sure you always comply with everything. But using coupons for all different kinds of compounds is a really great way to drive more compounds to your business. And even using compound coupons at your local chain location. So, your Walgreens, your CVS, your Rite Aid, they don't compound. So if you're out there promoting compounding, you'd be surprised by how many prescriptions the doctor will give to the patient and say, go to, ABC pharmacy. But that patient says, why would I go over there? I already, they in their head, they say, I already go to Walgreens. So they go to Walgreens and they drop that prescription off. And there's so many times that if Walgreens doesn't know which pharmacy in town does compounding, they just kind of say, oh, well, we'll get it changed to something else. And so a really great way to use coupons is to blanket all of your chain and non-compounding pharmacies in town with a little referral coupon that sends the patient back to your pharmacy letting them know that it's a specialty drug and that they need to go to a special type of pharmacy. So there's lots of different ways that you can use coupons. I like offering a remake guarantee. If it's the first time a patient's trying a formula. Now, in all my years of compounding, I rarely ever had to remake something. But we always offered it. And it was just kind of that security blanket, knowing that they could get it remade or they could get it changed, maybe increase the dose, decrease the dose, whatever that was going to be needed. And they could get another one for free of charge, just in case something didn't work. That's just a lot of uncertainty with both on the prescriber side and on the patient side with the compound is like, is this going to work? So a remake guarantee is a really great thing to offer. And then last but not least is the 1 + 1 = 3. If you are a compounder and if you don't realize that your biggest cost is your labor, I'm here to tell you that your biggest cost of a compound, no matter how expensive the compound in general, is going to be your labor. It costs more to make a compound than it does the actual ingredient cost of a compound. So the more that you can do larger bulk compounding, now again, obviously you got to follow BUDs and all of those kinds of things, but if you can give somebody a 3-month supply of a compound for the price of a 2-month, that's a win-win for everybody, because you actually are going to make more profit when you do it that way, because you're saving the cost of labor for 2 fills. The patient is going to save money, and they're also going to probably come back more and more because they're going to be able to afford it and they're going to stay on it longer. So I love the 1 + 1 = 3 because it really does help everybody and it saves costs all around. You obviously can't do it with every compound based on, beyond use dates and things like that, but it is an option for many of them. All right. Talking about gifts. I like to honor nurses, technicians, MAs, doctors. There's lots of different ways that you can do gifts. And again, I refer to it in the anatomy of a doctor detailing visit is it's very much like dating. And so when you're in a relationship with another human being, gifts are just a nice way to say, hey, I'm thinking of you. And the same way with offices, your pharmacy is a relationship with those offices, and gifts are a great way to say, hey, I'm thinking of you. It's great to do like to celebrate the National Day, National Nurses Day, National Medical Assistant Day. It's nice to drop off, even if it's a little candy bowl, a little set of pens, even just a note. It just really lets them know that you're thinking of them and helps build that relationship up. And so you don't really even need a reason. Sometimes those just for no reason at all can be the best ones. Even just a handwritten card, if all you say is, thinking of all of you nurses at Dr. Smith's office today, just know that we love you, kind of thing. Don't forget that acknowledging people, social media is another great way to give them a gift. Actually, we had a doctor's office in one of my pharmacies just do a big shout out thank you to our pharmacy on social media. And so that was really fantastic because it obviously highlighted our pharmacy to all of the people that follow their page. And then, of course, when we reshared it to our page, it obviously got that doctor highlighted as well. So public acknowledgement on social media is another really great way to give a doctor's office a gift as well. We're not doing high value stuff here. We're not giving them trips or barbecue sets or things like that. You obviously want to make sure you're complying with all the laws, but little handwritten cards and little goodie bags or homemade items are perfectly fine. And it just helps develop that relationship a little bit more between that doctor's office and your pharmacy. Don't forget holidays, whether it's, you can do Christmas. Sometimes we would actually skip Christmas and do New Year's just to be a little bit different than like everybody else sending gifts, or Valentine's. There's lots of obviously different days of holidays in the year, but you don't always have to do just the exact traditional. Sometimes picking a non-traditional holiday can actually get you a little more uniqueness and a little more attention on that holiday, because not everybody's giving a gift. So alrighty, well, those are my doctor detailing kind of little tips and tricks. I hope you enjoyed and got a little piece of nugget. If you have any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to me. I am Dr. Lisa Fost at DiversifyRx. My email is info@DiversifyRx. Feel free to head over to our website. There's tons of downloadable resources you can access our YouTube channel, podcast, and blog directly from the website at diversifyrx.com. So get out there, maybe use some of these tips in your doctor detailings and start boosting your pharmacy growth.